Hello and welcome back to Factorio Fixit. My name's Zuri and let's get cracking. Today we're playing a factory by Zuri. He sounds like that bloke from Red Alert. Zuri. I wonder if he is a crazy Russian. Alright, let's do this thing. Whoa! Pollution. So, oh yeah, Zuri is a gentleman after my own heart. This is a 44-hour factory I think I saw, and you'll quickly notice no trains. Oh yeah, let's do this thing. Okay, right. Okay. So interesting is to interesting. We can see here that we've got some throughput issues because we're combining everything onto one belt. That's, you know, the first thing that I see. If we were to get this to work better, what we can do, and this is actually probably a really easy fix. And I hope I'm not lying when I say that. Okay, so what we're going to do is just expand the width that we have to work with. Okay, and we're going to go here like this. Actually, okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to use some of the existing. Okay, that's a bugger. Where is he up to? Oh, he's researched everything. Is this... Okay, give me a second here, because I'll show you how to fix this. If you ever build something and you're like, oh shit, you know, I've misplaced it by, you know, a smidgen. There is a way to move it over very easily. So you can see here that this, what I want to do is I want to run a copper line down here. So I want to do this. Oh, and it's not in the actual network. Oh, that's not ideal. That is not ideal. Okay. So I'll just fix something else quickly while I'm going here. We'll have that there. Okay, that's going to work. That is going to work. Okay, outstanding. Now we will put this into a passive provider. Okay, wonderful. Now we've got red belt in the system, so that's happy days. Get rid of that. What we can do now is yeah, shift click that, but what we need to do here is move this over, because we want an extra copper line running down here so we can just reach over and grab it for whatever we want to grab. Now I've taken a blueprint and oops, I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. So what you do is you clear the blueprint, or electronic circuits. There's some green circuits, quick. There we go. Now, we take a blueprint of what we want to move over. So we want to move this over. Okay, so we've got the blueprint, that's wonderful. Now we will just get the logistics, or the construction robots, to deconstruct that for us. while they're doing that, we can actually start to make some adjustments. That's not ideal, but I think we can make that work there. Okay, they're all gone. Now what we'll do, right, remember it was here, so we need to one space over there, stamp it down, off they go. Now what we need to do, have something like that there, grab this fast belt and go here, okay, go underground, above ground, there we go, done. So that should all theoretically work a little bit better, a little bit faster. There's nothing in the network by the looks of it. That's really not ideal. Okay. It looks like we need to replace some power poles, so we'll do that now. And this is going to up our production capacity. Now this build isn't optimized at all. You really want what is it? Well, it's 3 to 2, so whatever that works out to be when you're looking at it 1 to 1. You need 3 to 2 of the cable assemblers to 2 green circuit assemblers. So 3 of these, 2 of these, and that'll really balance out the build nicely. Now there's something not connected here. There we go, done. So that'll punch out a few more green circuits for it. Now it seems like going with a pretty heavy bus system here, and well, I've discussed that in previous videos. So we'll just continue merrily along. Now this is actually not a bad idea. You can see how there's this kind of injection line running further down, and that's really cool because that's going to allow these to have access to the green circuits when the ones up here eat them all. So these are quite heavy in their consumption. So having something that'll eat them or allow it to get past is very important. Yeah. Seem to be doing okay. Okay, let's move right along. You can see now that most things are going to start to back up. Now, okay, so that's fine. We have steel. Okay, this is not right. It's not even close to being right, I don't think. Or is it? Let me just put it into some sort of sense I understand, because I think that might have been correct, but anyway. So what we need is splitter. Not that. This. Now where did that blue belt go? There it is. Because the blue belt will help try to stop the compression losses. It won't completely stop them. Now something that Zuri might want to think about doing is actually running a second iron line down here. You'll notice that we're starting to really strain the iron production capacity. So that's going to have to get upgraded. After you upgrade that, you can start looking at upping your actual throughput of this line here, because it's not going to cut it for the entire game. Well, it'll cut it, but it won't be super duper awesome. So I'll show you what I mean by increasing the capacity here. It's a pretty easy thing to do. Now here I'll show you a little trick. Because this will be a bit of belt routing tips. Because this is where understanding how everything's going to flow becomes really, really important, because you can put biases on the line, and once you do that, you're kind of halfway screwed. You need to try and make sure everything stays even in the factory, so then you can spot problems much easier and correct them much easier. Now, so you see here that yep, all fine and dandy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch anything until we get to here, because here is the first time that we split it. Now what I want to do is I do want to take half of it past this splitter, because I do want to preserve the fact that we've got two lines. Okay, if I was to I'll show you something here. If I was to do this kind of idea, so just run, oh my god, run the line in here, okay, and then split back out here, right? That looks okay, but in effect you actually only have one belt's throughput worth here, so you're not maintaining the double width. So what you need to do, oh, I deleted the wrong thing. What you need to do is actually have a little bit of a trick where you can run it past and then recombine it. Where did that go? There it is. Oops. Doesn't want to go down the right way. There we go. So, in this way, okay, whoops. Now this is the same thing, except we're going to maintain double belt width the entire way through. And once it gets to here, it'll recombine and continue on its merry way. So in this way you can have a little bit better throughput in your factory and not have a bias one way or the other. So we'll have this here, okay. Now this is a little interesting spot here. This has got iron coming from up here. Now what we need to do is we need to get it onto these two belts. Okay, and we probably need to jump it down past it to preserve our throughput. So we'll do a similar kind of trick. Once you start learning the rules of how to do it, it becomes very easy, or easier. Okay, that's that. And this is, we're going to manage to run this all the way to the end, which is pretty cool. Often you'll hit a point where you can't actually go any further, and that's a little bit of a bugger when that happens, but okay, that's no good. Okay, stopped our iron flow. We just need to reconnect this for a moment. Get some circuits being made. Oh, there we go. I didn't notice that they weren't connected either. Fix that now. There we go. There's a few. So now we can build our red splitters. Now what I want to do here is I want to combine this line in, but I also want to make sure it has access to all three. So what we'll do is we'll come here, here, and here. Now, what this is doing is actually this is joining it in, but it's also forming part of the it's forming part of this jump by to maintain the throughput. So this is fairly complicated stuff, and it's not things that the brand new player is going to be able to do the first time in the game. But when you start thinking about, okay, I want to keep my two lines, how do I do it? Well, you're going to need to go under, do some tricks and shit to make this kind of stuff work. Now here is a little example of where we're losing some throughput with corners, and we don't actually strictly need to. So what we'll do Okay, there we go. Now we can put that line back in. And you see that we've just got a little bit better throughput of the copper. So that's happy days. Now right now we're having iron throughput issues. That's where the trouble is. Now maybe we can get all of this to work a little bit smoother. You can see that we've got all this iron, and then it's being fed onto one side of the belt, which is an interesting decision to say the least. Let's see what we can do here. Looked like a half belt rebalancer to me, but oh well. Alright, so that's going to handle that for us. Okay, let's head down here. Now, we need better ways of getting this in as well. So the best way to introduce resources to a line is to use splitters, because they will allow the resource to go on either side of the belt. Now, that's not ideal. That's a bugger. So here is actually an example of where I can get a little bit sneaky and use side loading to self-balance. So what we can do, right, is if I throw this on here, you'll notice that suddenly we'll have both sides of the belt. Both sides of the belt. And that's approaching full compression of a yellow belt there. So I'm pretty happy with that little solution. So a little tweak, a little change, you know, removing some of the bias towards one side of the belt and trying to shift it onto the other. And what we might do here is, yeah, I broke that, I know. It's these damn belts, man. Stop. Okay. You know, and that's actually starting to exceed the capacity of a red splitter, interestingly enough. Very, very interesting. Right, let's head over here. See what's happening. So blue science is being made, but we haven't had research on at all throughout this. So that means that we've got a fair backlog happening. So we haven't been, oh, wrong way. I thought that was the other side of the factory. Yeah, we haven't been placing a drain on the factory. Okay. What's the story with this copper? Oh, okay, it's coming in from up there. Fair enough. Right. What we'll do is for the last... Oh. Okay. Well, I was going to turn on research and see what happened to the factory, but there you go. Can't do that. That's quite funny, actually. So, I think that it goes to show that, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect and it'll work. And if you persevere with it, you'll get through. Like that's the long and the short of it. For Mad Zuri, he's had a design, he's stuck with it, and he's ultimately conquered the game because he has shown a bit of tenacity, and he's just worked through to the end and shown that you don't have to have a perfect design, and you don't have to rebuild it every 5 minutes if it works. So yeah, it's been a cool factory. I hope you guys appreciated some of these belt tips in here. I do like playing around with some, you know, high capacity stuff. I think it's a lot of fun and it bends the brain nicely. So until next episode, I've been Negative Root. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time, which well, if you send me your save, it could be your factory.